Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with episode 4 of I Got Married to the Girl I Hate the Most in My Class. Sorry I'm a bit late on this one. I went over to my Uncle Paul's yesterday. I could have probably gotten done in time, but I didn't know when he was coming, so I apologize on that. Anyway, episode 4 is known as Night Attack, and if you might have guessed, it's centered around Shisei. Although, in retrospect, it should have been more focused on another character, but we'll talk about that at the very end. So, the first thing to start off, something I really actually liked about this episode is that Akane is running up to Saito, and she's giving her his lunch that he forgot at home, and she was being her, very adultish part, why didn't you bring your lunch? But she was a lot more reserved, she wasn't super hyper, and I kind of liked that it was more reserved this time, that was the perfect balance of Akane. But, following that, these two are eating lunch, and she says, comes over, and she says, your lunch looks delicious. Will you give it to me? And she's like, Saito's, no. But I really want to try some of your wife's... No. Okay. And it's like, you can have a bite. And so there gets a little bit of shenanigans of the classroom. The class is thinking, are these two dating or not? They say, we're not. Himari is the one who notices that their lunches are the same. And they quickly blow it off. Shisei actually hides the evidence of the food by eating it all in one gulp, as you might suspect. Following that encounter, we have a little bit of Himari talking with Saito. It's like, hey, you two are not dating. Yeah, make sure. Yeah, we're not dating. She's just copying me. That's the reason why our lunches look the same. That's all. She's like, okay, I'll go clear it up. Following that, we have the end, starting with the intro, and then we get into the big portion. Is our little gremlin decides to play some Night Attack. She's fooling around in the house, but the characters don't know it. From an outsider, it seems very obvious based off Shisei's personality they would do it, but we get a roundabout way of seeing Kane's really scared of the dark. She ghosts, and she makes her do things. There's some interesting bits that are kind of cut out a little bit. So she, when she asked her, can you remain outside the bathroom to watch over, make sure there are no ghosts coming? He's like, okay, whatever. In the manga, there's a couple of interactions. Yes, he does see her, and there's, I guess, a more positive, hey, can you at least put a towel on? Whereas in the manga, but while she's taking her bath, he actually thinks about her and thinks about her naked body. He's like, why am I thinking about this? I was like, all right, I gotta be right with the world. And then she appears out, and there's obviously cloud and everything in the manga, but she's like, he passes out my world's not safe anymore. I guess there's no sacred place. I think he was kind of worried about not being yelled at or something, or her beauty awestruck him. A bit interesting. But after that, Saito confronts. She says hey, my wife said there's a ghost hack. What can you do about this? And so later on, she confronts him hey, you love birds. Okay, what's up? And that's how it basically gets to the house, and she does investigating. She investigates her cousin's room, all this naughty stuff. They find his underwear. Bit funny. And then when they get to Kane's room, that's when she confesses, oh, it was me. And from there, she hangs out. They have a good time. Kane gets a bit jealous at this point, and all right, we'll save it at the very end. But she gets a bit jealous of it, thinks they're a little bit too close. And in fact, she confronts Saito about this when they get for the resting. They actually have a bit of a marriage spat where she kind of lets loose, but she just okay, I've done my yelling. It's you need a punching bag once. I'm sort of like that. She's not angry with him. She's just getting things off her chest. Well, of course, something happens, and it's actually Shisei that's getting to her bed. And she pinches her legs and everything. In the manga, she also comes up and squeezes Akane's breasts. And they have a bit of chat, and Akane kind of confronts, you two are close. I'm well, we've been this way since our childhood and everything. Well, eventually Saito falls asleep, and she says, hey, I know you're jealous of me, aren't you? Like, yeah, a little bit. I'm like, that's okay. I was, I was making sure my brother had a good marriage partner, so everything's good. It was basically she's teasing him. There is no harem. She wants to have a little bit of fun. But talking about where the manga differentiates, this episode should have been about a little bit of Amari, because you might be getting to the fact, you might be thinking, well, Kane's kind of a bit of a dick to be in this relationship, be married to her, someone that she actually kind of cares about, because she did see him flirting, so she's like, maybe she does like him, and be a bit dickish. Well, in the manga, following chapter 11, or following the food incident, Himari confronts Akane. He's like, hey, I kind of really like Saito. Can you help me out, figure out his favorite foods? He likes to, his activities and everything. She's like, okay, all right. And she kind of thinks in the back of her mind, like, who am I to stop my friend from falling in love? Like, this is more of an arranged marriage for our own purposes. It's like, I'll help you out. And in doing so, it tells the fact that she's Kane's starting to fall in love with Saito. So I kind of think this episode they should have done this episode instead. This could come next, but I think given the order of events, I think it would make more sense for her to the Himari helping Himari come first, and then you have the jealousy part, because she's now she's getting really into Saito. She's seeing the positive points. I think before this happened, you gotta be careful about flirting. We're married. You can't do that. You could see development, but I think with the reading of the manga, you would see kind of more wind to why she likes him, the good points, because Himari will point it out, and then of course learning about Saito upgrades that. So yeah, it's a bit interesting. The episode on its own is solid, but then if you take away the manga, it's and there's a lot of steps missing. Like in the beginning of chapter 11, before Akane gives the food to Saito, they talk about the food, her cooking and everything, and even continues a little bit in the manga. So yeah, it's one of those kind of weird scenarios where good episode. If they followed the manga, it would have been a lot better, is what I'm saying. Hopefully in episode 5 we'll get this, because it's a really good moment. There's some good comedy bits. But with that, I'm going to end the episode here. Hopefully you guys enjoy my review. I'm based off the artwork, manga, and everything. I mean, I'm probably going to pick it up. It's probably going to be near the end when it does come out in March 4th. So it should be almost done, and so it would kind of give me a good idea of whether or not this is a dumpster fire like I saw in X. Hopefully it isn't. I think there's some promise to it. I'm curious where this is going. I think it's going to be a solid love triangle. I don't like the fact that Akane is very stereotypical woman, but I think that's a very minor complaint, and now she's a little bit annoying. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. See you guys next time. Like and comment if you like the video. Anyway, see you guys next time.